Israel feels like home right away. It's a place you've never been, but yet you feel like it's home. You feel like, you're just coming back. It's the strangest thing. It's a sight I've never seen, but yet I feel like it's not it's not like foreign to me. It's just weird. And so it was like home. When I come here, it was just two different things I was seeing, even though I've lived in America all my life. I'm missing him. I'm missing just you being in Israel. It's like you with him. Just being there. I'll share some experience I had with angels that I believe that I saw while I was there. The first time was I was in Siberia. Siberia, I think. Siberia, yeah. I was in Siberia and near Galilee, and I wanted to just wake up because I wanted to go by the Sea of Galilee. It's actually a lake, but they call it a sea because of the time. I don't know. I don't know. There's a long story with that, but it's actually a lake. But they call it the sea. That's what the Bible, our forefathers called it, so it remained as that. So, and it looks like a sea, but it's a lake. Um, and so I wanted to wake up early in the morning to go by the Sea of Galilee to just worship God there. It was 5 in the morning, so I took my flashlight. So I left the hotel and I crossed the street and I'm like, oh God, I see Lord, send angels to walk with me. It's really dark. And I had to walk through an alley and to be able to get to the other side to be next to the lake. So the alley was very dark and they were like I just didn't like I was like, God, send me angels, send me angels. And then I don't know, the peace of the Lord was with me. And I'm walking and when I got to the lake frightened me because I don't know. I see things in the supernatural realm. I saw the spiritual side of the lake, of the Sea of Galilee. That's what it's called. And as soon as I approached the sea, I felt as if like the sea was alive. It could be because I've had experiences of being in lakes in heaven, or I've had experience where I walk on this body of water and the water was alive. So when I approached the Sea of Galilee, all I could think about is Jesus walking on the water, and the water look alive. It look alive. I look at the water. It looked like as if like I could walk on it. I don't know if it's just use my imagination. Spiritually, I'm there, and I saw the water as if like I could walk on it. I could truly walk on it. So I saw the water and I was like, wow, it almost looked like a sheet of layer, but it was, it was calm. It was still when I was there. I walked up on top of a rock and I stood up on top of the rock and I could see the water, and the water was just literally just like if I was to go down the rock and go a few rocks, step on a few rocks, I would have been in the water. And I'm looking at the water and I was like, wow, the water looks so alive, just as if like the water look alive in heaven. It might not look the same for everybody. Like I said, I'm seeing things in my spiritual eyes. And so I began to just worship. As I was worshiping, the water was start to like, start to be wild. It started to like move back and forth. And then the waves started coming in. And then the wave got stronger and stronger. And the wave started hitting on the rocks. I was like, wow, that's amazing. So I worship, how great thou art. I'm not gonna sing because I have a slight cold, but I go I sing a few songs. I don't remember it in this moment all the songs I've sang, but I was singing the song, and the more I sang them, the water was just being the wave of the water started to make more sound, and then it was hitting across like on the rocks and making sound. But at the beginning, it was very calm. But as I was worshiping, I felt like the water was worshiping with me. So I was like, come on and worship with me. So I just worship God. And of course I cried. And it was dark. And I could see sparkling on the water. And I was so close to the water that I could see it. And worshiping and worshiping, and then at some point I anointed the rock that I was sitting on, and I said that the scripture, upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades shall not prevail against it. And I just was just talking to the Lord, and the water was talking to the Lord with me. It was making sound. And so, and then the spirit was high, and as the water was making sound, like wave sound, I just got on my face on the rock and I began to pray and pray and I pray and I pray and I pray. Oh God. It's nothing like praising God on a rock by the Sea of Galilee. It's just, everything just feels so present. I felt as if like Jerusalem is like, I don't know, it's like almost like a being. The Sea of Galilee is just, I don't know, the worship was nice. I prayed and I prayed. I don't know how long I prayed for, but I was praying and I just got zoomed into the prayer and I just felt like I was like literally before the Lord. And I prayed, and at some point I felt like I should get up, like lift up my head. And I lift up my head and I saw the sun was rising. And it was the most beautiful sight. And then by that time, the water calmed down a little bit. And I just lift up my hands upon the horizon and I just praise God. Praise God. And then out of my mouth, I said, God, give me a sign. Give me a sign. The Jewish people ask for a sign, so I asked for a sign. And I was crying. And I was the only one there. The sea was completely empty of people. And where I was in a little space, in between me and other people was this little closed-in alleyway. And then my hotel was there, and then the alleyway was about maybe 3 to 4 minutes to get to the sea. And then I was in front of the sea and above, on top of the rock and overlooking the Sea of Galilee, and it's amazing. And after I finished praying over the horizon, I began to see, there were boats in the water, but people were asleep. There was no sign of people. There was no sign of anything moving. And I asked God for a sign. As soon as I said, give me a sign, God, this gentleman just walked up out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. He came, I didn't even see him coming out of the alley. He just kind of like appeared behind me. I felt a presence, so I turned around and then I saw him. And then there was a distraction going on. I saw a little dog, and the dog was going around peeing on the rocks. I don't know what he was doing. It looks like it was doing that. I don't know. Little cute little like poodle, like a cute little white dog. It's so cute. I started looking at the dog, and then I'm like, wait, there's somebody else here. So I'm looking at the guy, and I walk up to him and I said, are you an angel? And he looked at me. He didn't say anything. And I said, what's your name? And he told me his name, and I couldn't pronounce it. So I said, well, what does it mean? He said, my name means a friend of God. I said, you are an angel. He's like, well, this is what we call you. We call you an angel. I'm like, but I'm just trying to be in the moment. I'm trying to be in the moment of funny because I want to declare that he's an angel, and I want him to admit that he's an angel. And I have a cat behind me. He's making, Mingo, go. My cat is behind me. So I said, and there was nobody there. There was no sign of people awake. So the man, he said his name, but I couldn't make out his name. And he said, my name means a friend of God. I said, you are an angel. He's like, that's what we call you. We call you an angel. I said, I'm talking to an angel. So I shook his hand. But his hand was so light, it felt as if like, I don't know, like it become like one. Like when you hold somebody's hand, you could feel like the other hand. It just felt like his hand went through my hand. It felt like that, even though he had the flesh, but his hand felt like it went through, like we were one. And I'm talking to the guy, and I'm looking at him. And he had a cigarette in his hand. I was like, why? But he never smoked. Never took a puff. Not even once. And he had it in his hand like this, and he's talking to me. Never smoked. And he started to walk around, never smoking. I'm talking to him. And then he said, you're from America. He's like, you're from America. And he began to say who I am. And he's like, Africa's over there. And I'm like, well, I'm not African. And I told him I was from Haiti. And then he began to look toward the sea. And then I don't know, for some reason, the cigarette, I don't know what happened to it. I don't know. Like, I never saw it. There was no smoking in it. I don't know if it was just something to distract me. I don't know. It just, and then he started to point. He said, "You're from America," and then he started to point toward. He's like, "You see over there, across from the sea, over there is Iraq, and then over that way, he was pointing at different places. Over that way is Pakistan." The thing about those two countries he mentioned, those two countries, I visited in a trance. Those two countries are countries that God put in my heart to visit in a physical, even though I've been there spiritually, but physically I have not been there. And these are the countries I'm praying for beside Israel. And there are other countries, but on the Middle East, these are the specific countries that I'm assigned to: Pakistan and Iraq and Israel. And then he even mentioned Saudi. Did he say Saudi Arabia? Saudi Arabia is one of them too that I've been praying for as well. But the two main countries that I am assigned to is Pakistan and Iraq. And he mentioned those two countries, and he showed me the direction of where they are, and he said I should visit, I should go there. And then he's like, "Yeah, you're from America," and I said, "How you know?" And then the subject just changed. I said, "You are an angel." He's like, "That's what I call you guys." And I said, and I kept asking, "What does his name mean? What does his name mean?" He said, "My name means a friend of God." And then he said, "I'm Jewish." He said, I'm Jewish. I was born here. I'm Jewish." He's not Jesus, because I've seen Jesus before, unless Jesus disguised himself and looking a different way. Because I asked him for a sign, and he looked a little different. I don't know. He said he's Jewish. He was born here, and that, his name mean a friend of God. And I was like, "Wow, you are an angel." So I'm walking around, and he sits down. I don't know what happened to the cigarette that was in his hand. He sits down. He didn't. And then I was walking, so I went on the other side of the lake, or Sea of Galilee, and I was trying to like get the water because I wanted to drink it. And he's like, "You want to go in the water? You can go in the water. You can even swim if you want." I was like, "You are so an angel." And then I was trying to like because I had a dress on, so I was just trying to be respectful and just keep myself together. And he was looking toward me, but in such of a respectful way. And he was like, "You could drink, you could go in the water, you could swim." And I said, "No." I said, "No, I just wanted to touch the water." And then he turned around, and he was looking toward the sea as I was touching the water. And then I drink some of the water. And then when I drink the water, my God, I don't know, maybe because I'm already in the spirit, I felt the power of God as the water goes through me. I could feel the water going through me, and I felt electrified. I felt so electrified that I was floating on air. And I was like, "Wow, that was nice." So I took 3 sips, took 3 sips, and I drank. And I just felt so alive. And I came out, and I look at him again, and I said, "You are an angel." I said, "What is your name again?" And he said, God help me, I cannot say his name. He said it means a friend of God. And I said, "I believe you are an angel." And he looked at me, and I look at him. And I said, and I turned to leave, to go toward just going toward the alleyway to leave. And I just had to turn around again, just in case. I turned around, and I said, "What is your name again?" He said it again. And he said, "It means a friend of God." And then I just kept walking, and I left. He was an angel. He told me the places that I am called to pray for and to visit: Iraq and Pakistan. He said I was from the U.S. And he said they called me an angel. They said, "This is what we call you guys." So me and everybody else, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what he meant by that. But he said, "This is what we, let's talk about it." I don't know. He said, this is what we call you guys, angel. So I don't know. And then that was that. And then I went, sorry, I have a little bit of cold. And then I went somewhere else that I was going to go see this boat that was found. It must have been at the time of Jesus. It's a big possibility. It could have been one of the boat. It could have been the boat that Jesus was on, because no other boat can survive all these years, thousands of years. There's no other boat that could have survived that. It just makes sense, but it's not 100% sure. But they believe it could have been the boat that Jesus was on, or a boat from that time. And while I was getting ready to go to that building, this man walked up. He was a little thick. He wasn't like big, but he was a little thick, a little thicker than the normal people I see there, because it's the Middle East. They eat healthy. He was a little bit, just slightly chunky. And there was a lot of people there, and we all walking. We're a group. We're walking to go to the building, and he walked up to me. He said, "Do you want me to take your picture?" I was like, "Okay." I was taking pictures of my own. I was fine. He's like, "Do you want me to take your picture?" I said, "Okay." And then he said, "I am Jewish." And he said his name, but I don't remember it. But he said, I'm Jewish and I was born here. I said, "Can I shake your hand?" He said, "Yeah." He shook my hand again. His hand did feel solid. His hand felt as if like it become one. I was like, wow, that's another angel. But I didn't ask him because I don't know why. I didn't ask him, but I knew he was an angel because I had the same feeling when I shook his hand. And then he took the phone, and he was solid. He took the phone, took a few pictures of mine. I don't really see the. I don't know. I look at my phone. I saw some of the pictures that I don't know. It must have been the picture he took, and I shook his hand, and then he kept saying, "I'm Jewish. I'm Jewish. I'm Jewish." And I mean, he was a beautiful bald guy, beautiful, beautiful like olive skinned guy. I was like, wow, I'm meeting another angel. And I shook his hand, and I wanted to bless. I don't know if I blessed him. Maybe I did. Don't remember because I keep blessing the people there because it's Jewish. And and then we walked together to go into the building so we could go see the boat and stuff, like the remains of the boat that they found. And we walk in, the guy was gone. He was nowhere to be found. I look around. I mean, everybody else was slimmer than he was. I couldn't miss him, and he was tall. He was gone. Couldn't find him anywhere. I was like, wow, that was an angel. Then another one happened. One of these days I was there. It was this week. It was raining, and we were walking to the marketplace in Jerusalem. The place where they sell food, clothes, and it is loud in there. And we were looking for food. We were looking for food. So there was like a way. There's like little steps within that pathway I was walking on, and the rain was falling. And this beautiful olive skinned guy walked up to me. He looked like he's coming out of a shop, but the shop was kind of like closed. One of those places how they look closed because of COVID. It looked like that, but he stepped as soon as I was gonna come to cross the path of that shop, he came out of the shop, stood right in front of me. He's like, and he said to me, he said, "Good morning," something like that. He said, "Are you enjoying the rain in Jerusalem this morning?" I said, "Yes, I am. Thank you." The man was gone. As soon as I said thank you, he was gone. I just had a glimpse of him because I had to look down to see where I was stepping because it's raining. And I said, "Yes, I am. Thank you." He was gone. So I turned around, he was gone. I went back and forth. The shop looked like it's closed. There shouldn't be anybody in there. And I don't know if he was Jesus. I just saw a quick glimpse of him, and he looked like, he looked like Middle Eastern. And he said, "Are you enjoying the rain in Jerusalem this morning?" It was so peaceful. The sound of his voice was so peaceful. And I don't know why I didn't stop to just go and give him a handshake. Because I was already in the realm of walking. And by the time I just took a breath and turned around, he was gone. The voice was gone. Whoever spoke to me was gone. He was gone. He was gone, gone. And the shop looked like it looked vacant. So now these are the three angels I believe I met in Israel.